Good afternoon, and hope you're enjoying this Saturday. And welcome to Anago Maths. I think it's time we think about the exams. We have an exam coming up soon, and I thought let me prepare some topics to help you revise for the exams. So some of the things I'm going to show you is important. You listen to it, watch the video, go through it. There are some surprises in the video. I won't tell you where they are. The surprises, I won't tell you where they are, so it's important you watch everything all the way through to the end, and you will find the surprises. And it's going to cover some key topics, some very important formulae, and I'll try to put it in colors so that will help you to understand it. The best way to learn mathematics is by doing it. And that gives you a lot of chances to remember it. And then the super way to make sure you can never forget it is by teaching it to somebody else. So you're watching this video, try and do it, and then go and teach somebody else what you have learned. So let's jump right into it. These are very important concepts, and I'll try and make it clear as possible. So the first thing I'd like you to know about is the Pythagoras' theorem. And all you need to remember is those three squares. The area of this square A plus the area of this square B is equal to the area of that square. And the way we write it as is A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. So that is how to think about it. And you can count the squares 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 squares, which is 4 times 4 is 4 squared. And that's 3 squared, and that's 5 squared. The way that I encourage students to think about it is the short squared, the short side squared, plus the short side squared is equal to the long squared. And if you want to find the short side, it is the long squared minus a short squared and then square root. Don't forget to square root it. Percentage, very common in exams. Percent means per 100. So it is part over a whole, which is like a fraction, part over a whole. So percent over 100. So how to find percentage of a number? Convert given percent into fraction. You need to know that. You multiply fraction and a given number. So you can express percent as a fraction and as a decimal. So you can have it as 50, a fraction, for example. 50 over 100 is a fraction, which is simplifies to a half, and as a decimal is 0.5. So if you look on the top right conversion, to go from fraction to percent, you times 100. And to go from percent to fraction or decimal, you divide by 100. So you learn that thing in that box there. Here's one of the surprises. If I had 6 oranges in one hand and 7 apples in the other, what would I have? If I had 6 oranges in one hand and 7 apples in the other, what would I have? Think about it. I'll reveal the answer after the next question. I'll reveal the answer after the next question. Reverse percentages. This one gives problems to lots of students. There's no doubt about it, especially when they have lots of words. But now we can break it down to just formula. Draw this triangle. Learn how to use the triangle. New value is equal to original value times a multiplier. So think of N for new value, O for original value, M for multiplier. So think of num. That might help you. And then they tend to ask you original value, this one. That's the reverse percentage. They tell you what the new value is. They say, what was the price before? Original value is the new value divided by multiplier. And you need to know how to get multiplier. Multiplier, you add 100 and then you divide by 100. That gives you the multiplier when you increase. And then there's also the other way, subtract from 100 and then divide by 100. That's the multiplier when you decrease. I'll show you that at some other point. Now let's reveal the answer for that. What you're going to have is, you're going to have big hands. Because if you have 6 oranges, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on one hand, and 7 apples on another hand, you're definitely going to have big hands. This one is very interesting because we've got 3 things there: ratios, rates, and proportions. When you think about it carefully, it can be very confusing. But the ratio is a comparison of 2 of the same measurements. 2 of the same measurements, like 1 mile over 2 miles, 52, $2 or $5. So ratios is comparison of 2 of the same measurements. 1 degree is to 2 degrees. That 2 dots we say is 2 in maths. 1 is to 2. In English, they have a different name for those 2 dots. Rate. Look at the definition for rate. A rate is a comparison of 2 different measurements. So we can have 35 miles per hour, 2 girls, 2 boys, 1 pound, 2.2 kilograms. So rate is a comparison of 2 different measurements. And then the proportion is a comparison of 2 equivalent ratios. So A over B is equal to C over D. 1 over 2 is equivalent to 4 over 8. And if 1 over 3 is equals to X over 100, and 4 over 20 is equals to 16 over 20, this one is not a proportion. It's something interesting to think about. Compound measure. These ones, they come a lot in exams, and I'm glad lots of students remember it. Density is mass divided by volume. Mass divided by volume. And the way I remember it is, don't move Vera. Don't move Vera. It helps me remember that. Pressure is force over area. They tend to give this one in exams, but it's still good to remember it. Speed, they don't give this in exams. Speed is distance divided by time. Learn to use the triangle. The way I remember it is sausages don't talk. That's very popular in exam. This density, pressure, and speed. Ratio, working out steps. So in a question, exam question, you have ways to solve questions. You can have step 1. You have to follow some steps, some methodology. Step 1, step 2, step 3. So those are the things you know those steps by practice, So the way I remember it, I think of the word Adam. I know some of you have heard of the word Adam, the name Adam. You may have heard of Eve, but we're only using Adam here. So let's stick to Adam. Adam means we add the 2 ratios. Find the total number of parts of the ratio. That means you add them. Adam means you add the ratio. So if it was 3 to 5, you add 3 plus 5. And then you find the amount for 1 part, divide. So the total amount being shared over total number of parts. So if there was 100 pounds, you're sharing to 10 parts, 100 divided by 10. And then, and this A has no, it's just to make it sound nice. Each share, to get each share, you multiply. So you add, divide, multiply. You multiply each ratio by the amount for 1 part. I'll show you an example for that. Right, which king loved factions? So in England, which of the kings loved factions? I'll tell you the answer, which of the king loved factions? So share ratio amounts. So we want to divide 40 in the ratio 2:3. So 2:3 means Adam, A for Adam. So we add 2 plus 3, it gives 5. So we've done the A. Then put that name Adam at the side there. Because very important, especially for those who struggle with maths. You've got to have these methods. So we do A, which is add. And then after we divide, after we multiply. So we add 2 plus 3 is 5. And then we go to divide the amount for one part. So we divide 40 divided by 5 is 8. 40 divided by 5 is 8. And then after we multiply, 2 times 8, 16, and 3 times 8, 24. And we can check our answer. 16 plus 24 is 40. Some people call it 40. In French, you call it 40. So which king loved factions? Henry VIII. So percent, proportion, part over whole. So percent over 100, or is or of. So use that to help you think about it when you see questions. This is a technique that can help you. This cross multiply. X over 9 is equal to 2 over 3. So you cross multiply. X times 3 is equal to 2 times 9. So X times 3 equals to 2 times 9. And then from there now you go from fractions to linear. So they're not equal to each other. So to get X, you can divide both sides by 3. 3 will cancel. 18 divided by 3 is 6. So X is 6. Learn this technique. It helps a lot when you come to do comparing two fractions. Sometimes when you see ratios arranged like that, the first one divided by the second is equals to this first one there divided by the second. And then after that, you can cross multiply. Very important technique. And this one, we call them another thing on ratio and proportion. These are equivalent ratios. So you can put it this way, product of means, you multiply x, y times z is equals to the product of the extremes. So that's another thing you can learn. If you have that, you can do product of means, the product of the means, the two middle one, multiply them, is equals to the product of the two outer ones. That helps you to solve some problems like that. I hope that helps you. And whenever you're learning a new topic, don't forget to make what we call a mind map. It's a map that gives you ideas of all the little key things that you need to remember. So you can add things in this compound measure. You can add things like density. You can add things like speed. You can add things like pressure, the force over area, speed, distance over time, density, mass over volume. So you can add things, and it helps you now to have a map of what you are learning. So don't forget to ask for any questions. Click on the link below and send questions of anything you need further help with. But I hope this summary will help you to answer exam questions. So good luck with your exams.